Welcome to Part 2 of the Bedrock Group's 2026 Medicare Supplement Training Series. I'm your host, and if you completed Part 1, you now have a rock-solid understanding of the Medigap landscape. Today, we're shifting from knowledge to execution. This is Architecting the 2026 Medigap Close, your strategic sales playbook for Plans G, High Deductible G, and Plan N. By the end of this episode, you'll have the pitch architecture, client profiling techniques, and closing strategies that top producers use every day. Let's get to work. Let's start with the market forces that make 2026 unlike any year before it. There are three key actuarial shifts creating what I call a historic acquisition window. First, baseline Medigap premiums are rising across the board. This might sound like a headwind, but it's actually an opportunity. Rising premiums mean clients who delayed enrollment are now paying more, which reinforces the urgency of acting during open enrollment when rates are locked in at the youngest possible age. Second, Medicare Advantage volatility has reached unprecedented levels, with approximately 2.7 million MA enrollees being displaced due to plan terminations, service area reductions, and benefit cuts. There is a massive wave of beneficiaries returning to original Medicare who need supplemental coverage immediately. Many of these individuals have guaranteed issue rights. Third, the new Part D prescription drug cap of $2,000 annually is a game changer. This cap fundamentally strengthens the Medigap value proposition by putting a ceiling on total healthcare exposure when paired with Plan G. These three forces together create the most favorable selling environment for Medigap agents in recent memory. If you're not capitalizing on this window, you're leaving significant revenue on the table. Before you can close, you need your client to feel the problem. Let's refresh the structural gaps in original Medicare that create the urgency for supplemental coverage. The Part A inpatient hospital deductible for 2026 is $1,676 per benefit period. Remember, that's per benefit period, not per year. Days 61 through 90 carry a $419 daily coinsurance. Lifetime reserve days cost $838 per day, with only 60 available in a lifetime. And on the Part B side, after the $283 annual deductible, your client faces unlimited 20% coinsurance with no out-of-pocket maximum. These aren't abstract numbers. These are the exact financial fault lines that can crack a client's retirement foundation. Your job in every sales conversation is to make these gaps tangible and personal. Ask your client, do you have $40,000 set aside for a single cancer treatment? That question alone changes the entire conversation. Now let's talk about the product that solves this problem better than anything else on the market. Plan G is the gold standard of Medicare supplement coverage for 2026. Here's why. With Plan G, the client's only out-of-pocket medical cost beyond their monthly premium is the $283 Part B annual deductible. That's it. After that deductible is met, Plan G covers 100% of all Medicare-approved expenses. No coinsurance, no co-payments, no surprise bills. The beauty of Plan G is its simplicity. You can explain the entire value proposition in one sentence. Pay your premium and $283, and Medicare-approved medical costs are completely covered for the rest of the year. For clients who value predictability, peace of mind, and maximum protection, Plan G is the answer. It converts unpredictable, potentially catastrophic medical costs into a single known monthly premium plus a minimal annual deductible. That's the gold standard. Now let's look at the strategic alternative for your healthiest clients. High Deductible Plan G works exactly like Standard Plan G, but with one critical difference. The client must meet a $2,950 annual deductible before the plan starts paying. Think of it as a two-phase financial structure. Phase 1 is the accumulation phase, where the client pays medical expenses out of pocket until they reach that $2,950 threshold. Phase 2 is the activation phase. Once the deductible is met, the plan functions identically to Plan G, covering 100% of Medicare-approved costs. The trade-off is clear. The client accepts higher upfront exposure in exchange for significantly lower monthly premiums. For a healthy 65-year-old who rarely visits the doctor, the premium savings over a standard Plan G can be substantial, often hundreds of dollars per year. The key qualifying question is simple. Can this client comfortably absorb a $3,000 unexpected medical expense without financial stress? If yes, High Deductible G deserves serious consideration. Let's round out the trio with Plan N, the option that balances predictability with premium efficiency. Plan N sits between Plan G and high deductible G in terms of both cost and coverage. The premiums are lower than Plan G, making it attractive for budget-conscious clients. But unlike high deductible G, there's no large upfront deductible. Instead, Plan N introduces modest cost sharing at the point of service. The client may pay up to $20 for some office visits and up to $50 for emergency room visits that don't result in an inpatient admission. Plan N also does not cover Part B excess charges, though these are increasingly rare as most providers accept Medicare assignment. Think of Plan N as a pressure relief valve. It reduces the client's monthly premium by introducing small, manageable copayments that most clients barely notice. For clients who want solid coverage without the top-tier premium of Plan G, Plan N is an excellent choice. Yeah, now that you understand all three plans individually, let's put them side by side in a diagnostic framework. When comparing Plan G, Plan N, and high deductible G for 2026, there are 4 critical dimensions to evaluate. First, premium level. Plan G has the highest premiums, Plan N is moderate, and high deductible G has the lowest. Second, out-of-pocket predictability. Plan G offers maximum predictability with only the $283 deductible. Plan N is highly predictable with small copayments. High deductible G has lower predictability until the deductible is met. Third, maximum medical exposure. Plan G caps exposure at $283. Plan N's exposure is slightly higher due to copayments and potential excess charges. High deductible G has maximum exposure of $2,950. Fourth, excess charge coverage. Plan G covers excess charges. Plan N does not. High deductible G covers them after the deductible. This matrix gives you a clinical, objective framework for your conversations. You're not pushing a product. You're diagnosing the right solution based on the client's specific financial and health profile. The key to closing Medigap sales isn't memorizing plan details, it's matching the right plan to the right client based on their psychological and financial profile. Let me give you 3 distinct client archetypes. The first is the coverage maximizer. This is the client who says, "I just want to know everything is covered." They prioritize peace of mind over premium savings. They may have experienced a health scare, watched a spouse struggle with medical bills, or simply have the financial means to afford the best coverage. For the coverage maximizer, prescribe Plan G without hesitation. Their trigger phrase in discovery is anything related to wanting complete protection or not wanting to worry about medical bills. The second archetype is the budget balancer. This client says, "I want good coverage, but I need to watch my monthly expenses." They're cost-conscious but not willing to take on significant financial risk. They understand the value of insurance but want to optimize their premium dollars. For the budget balancer, prescribe Plan N. Their trigger is any mention of managing monthly costs while still wanting solid coverage. The third archetype is the healthy saver. This client says, "I'm healthy, I rarely go to the doctor, and I want the lowest premium possible." They're typically younger Medicare beneficiaries, often still active and in good health. They're comfortable with calculated financial risk. For the healthy saver, prescribe high deductible Plan G. Their trigger is confidence in their current health and a desire to minimize monthly costs. Every client you meet will fall into one of these 3 profiles. Your discovery questions should be designed to identify which archetype you're speaking with within the first few minutes of the conversation. Now let's put the total financial picture together, because this is your most powerful closing tool in 2026. When you pair Plan G with the new Part D prescription drug cap, here's what your client's total maximum annual healthcare exposure looks like. On the medical side, Plan G limits exposure to the $283 Part B annual deductible. On the prescription drug side, the new 2026 Part D cap limits drug costs to $2,000 per year. Add those together, and your client's total maximum healthcare risk is capped at $2,283 annually, plus their premiums. Pair that with complete network freedom, no referrals, no prior authorizations, and you have the most compelling healthcare coverage package available in America today. Here's your closing line. For less than $2,300 a year beyond your premiums, you get unlimited access to any Medicare-accepting doctor or hospital in the country with zero surprise medical bills. In a country where medical bankruptcy remains a real threat, that's not just insurance. That's a fortress of financial predictability. Now, let me give you the framework that ties everything together. This is the Bedrock Pitch Architecture, a four-phase conversational model designed to guide every client interaction from introduction to close. Phase 1 is Expose the Gap. This is where you educate the client on the structural vulnerabilities of Original Medicare, use the specific dollar amounts, make the unlimited coinsurance exposure real and personal. Phase 2 is Present the Shield. Once the client understands the problem, introduce Medigap as the solution. Explain how supplemental coverage converts unpredictable costs into a known monthly premium. Phase 3 is Diagnose the Fit. This is where your client profiling skills come in. Use discovery questions to identify whether you're speaking with a coverage maximizer, a budget balancer, or a healthy saver. Then match them to Plan G, Plan N, or High Deductible G accordingly. Phase 4 is Engineer the Close. Present the total financial picture, including the Part D cap, confirm the client's understanding, and guide them through the enrollment process. This four-phase architecture gives you a repeatable, professional framework that builds trust and positions you as an advisor, not a salesperson. That's a wrap on Part 2 of our series. You now have the complete sales playbook for 2026 Medigap. You understand the market forces creating unprecedented opportunity. You know each plan inside and out. You can profile clients and match them to the right solution. And you have a four-phase pitch architecture that guides every conversation. In Part 3, we'll dive into enrollment mechanics, guaranteed issue rights, and the timing windows that every agent must master. If you're an experienced health insurance agent or manager looking for a team that provides this level of training, tools, and support, visit us at thebedrockgroupadvisors.com or connect with us on LinkedIn. The Bedrock Group is building something special, and we want the best in the business on our team. See you in the next episode.